your first and second year there, and you've got state final official doing a presentation, and you don't even know if this is something you're really going to like or not. And one area that I kind of thought was a bit of a hole was really addressing that first, second year jitters and that working solo all by yourself. I wish it wasn't the case that you start off solo for years before you're even getting to work with a partner. So you're developing a bad habit and you've been running with it for 3-4 years or more. And then all of a sudden you're realizing after working with somebody once that I've been doing that wrong all this time. So how many brand new, this is their first year people do we have? Okay. And then under 3 years. Okay. See, this is exactly what I'm trying to gear this towards. Okay. Is trying to get that idea of, let's see, he said down, didn't he? So this is exactly what I'm trying to have this geared towards, is that third year and newer, and you still got that nervousness, and am I doing this right and everything else. Open discussion, guys, okay? So as we go through this, and I have some things that I think are really important as far as being able to be prepared for it, but also game situation stuff with runners on, up the bases loaded. Please interact, okay? This is hey, I did this last year. Did I do this right? Or what if I had this situation, okay? So I really, please, hey, let me ask you a question, okay? I keep hitting the wrong button. So if there's one thing, though, that I want everybody to take away from this, is everybody had their first game. Everybody was nervous about that first game and doing, whether or not they were going to screw up or not, okay? Saw Wayne walking up, and he laughed at me as I realized the story he made fun of me for telling at the Belvedere Clinic I'm about to tell you right now. So I guess if you've seen it once, you're going to hear it too many times, but we've all had our very first game. My very first I went to the FVB clinic in Wheaton, and it wasn't at Wheaton at that point. It was at one of the high schools. And it was, cage work, bring your mask, come ready, prepared to learn something and so on. And I was too nervous. I didn't bring the mask. I didn't want to get out in front of anybody or anything else, but did the clinic thing. And I think they catered Subway or something back then. But then I was out in the backyard cutting the lawn and get a text from Jeff Collis, if you don't know, is the assigner. And then it was just a plain, you could tell it went to everybody. Prospect High School, I think it was. It needs somebody right now. Umpires down, whatever, flat tire or whatever. So I'm thinking, okay, here's a good opportunity. I'm just going to say, hey, I'm available. This is Ed Hayes. It'll get me a freshman game in a couple of weeks, Couldn't even get the phone back in my back pocket when, good, thanks, Eddie. And I'm, oh, crap. So all my gear is still in plastic wrap. I've never I was never behind a plate and nothing. I hustle out the Prospect, okay, living the lawn in the middle of the backyard, the lawnmower. But I get there and walked up looking sharp as all get up, but probably combine that with being my worst game ever as well. So every one of us, I don't care who anybody is, whether from Joe West all the way down to me, has had their very first game, has had still probably 4 or 5 pitches they would love to see again. Not I missed 4 or 5 pitches. I'd love to see 4 or 5 pitches again every single game, that there's something you'd like to see. That maybe missed a low and away strike that I should have got that pitch and didn't. We've all had that, and you move on, and that's what differentiates you from the good umpire to the bad umpire, is how you move on and learn from it, okay? So everyone has had that situation. I don't care what anybody says. So the first things that we all need to understand, guys, that the biggest factors are perception, hustle on the field, timing. We're going to go into this with a lot of detail. Know the priorities while you are out there. There's only one of us, okay? When we're working solo at the younger levels, guys, there's only one, so we can only do so much. And as a result, you have to give up the distance to the play to be able to make sure you are set and have the best angle, okay? So those things, absolutely. The first is the perception. You are exactly what you appear to be. You will be judged, every single one of us will be judged from 250 yards away in the parking lot. Before we even walk on the field, they've got a perception of what kind of umpire you are. Okay? So if you're walking up and you've still got dirt on your boots from the game before, and your hats, you tuck your hat in your shirt, you're not tucked in yet, and you're just a bit disheveled and so on, I'm telling you, you will walk on the field and this guy will already think, what a schmo. I don't believe I'm stuck with this guy. And you know what? You haven't even called a strike yet. You haven't done anything yet. So that perception is reality. Absolutely. You're going to hear this over and over again at these clinics and so on, that everybody's saying, make sure your shirt's clean and ironed, your pants are pressed, you polished your shoes, look your absolute best. Keep that mask tucked under your left shoulder. Always take the mask off with the left. Always keep that hat. Break the rim. I get sick of it. And I just lied. It is so true, every single one of it, guys, that is to channel my best Yogi Berra. Perception is 80% of the game. The other half is just the rules knowledge, okay? So perception is what's going to set you aside, believe it or not. And that goes for life in general, that matter. Always hustle, but make sure you're set when you're making a call. We're going to go over some plays where we want to go with to make a play and so on, but hustle when you're out there. We should almost never be, there's always exceptions, stuck behind the plate, okay? You're showing hustle, that's going to demand that kind of respect that, okay, this guy's moving. But if over hustling, that you got all the way out at second base and you're right on top of that play, but the ball went home, that over hustle did you nothing. So hustling to a spot, getting yourself set, and being able to make that call, okay? So that goes throughout the game. And what I mean by hustle but cheat, you're going to be able to get a handful of steps sometimes in one man. Get to that spot to make that call, and as you safe it, you're walking a couple of steps closer then after you've safed it. Now you're that much closer to the play if somebody wants to argue whether or not he was safe or out. So it's just a little trick to, if you're going to get yourself set, which you must, be ready to make that safe call, make that out, and then get a couple more steps. It's going to help that much more. Timing, I could go 3 hours on timing, and a lot of it has just been from sheer just bad experiences, okay? That makes you, I think I've got, this is my best part of my game, which sounds silly to say, but is I'm timing a pitch coming in, tracking it all the way, making that catcher present, and then making that call. And that often means that catcher, you see that ball coming in and it's dead over that plate. Phil Pupillo, I wasn't here, but I saw it on YouTube. Phil did an awesome job of explaining how, that sweeps away. You can't call that. You've got to be able to, at the, as the levels, and you umpire to the level of the game you're playing. But that ball will be coming across, and before it hit across that plate, that is a strike. I am absolutely getting that strike. And then the catcher bops, he drops that glove into the dirt and a big puff of dust, and now you got a coach irate. That ball was in the dirt. No, it wasn't. Billy destroyed that pitch. He's got to be able to present. So that's going to get more and more important the higher up we go. So, 8-year-old travel baseball, yes, we are getting that pitch no matter where the glove went. But as we work our way up, and I'm going to say freshman ball, freshman coach wants that catcher to present. You've got to be able to wait for that pitch to come all the way through. Voluntary release, we'll talk about this in some of the plays, guys. A play doesn't count if that ball is not retrieved out of that glove and then it's being voluntarily released. That is the definition of a catch. From start to the finish, it's got to have a voluntary release. And again, we'll go over some of that with some of the plays we'll talk about. Always, always know where the ball is. I was in some of my first two-man games, runner on first, R1 stealing second base. I came across. I had a great angle at it. I was all right there. sliding in, ball beat him. So I'm watching that ball coming from the catcher. I'm now set, waiting for that call. Slide into the tag, tags down. Oh, yeah. Boom, got that out. And then the shortstop went behind second base and picked up the ball. So you've got to literally say, catch, where's that ball? Show me ball, show me ball. All right, bam, now I got it. Timing is something that to us, as we are waiting for that voluntary release, we're waiting to see where the ball is. Seems like a half hour to us, but to everyone there, players alike, it's a split second. So allow that play to develop and finish all the way through. So timing is so important. And again, as far as timing, that foul ball trickling down the line, heck, it could be 3 inches over, but still in dirt before grass. And it just slowly looks like it's going to stop rolling. Wait, guys, it hits that grass and heads over. It hits a stone and deflects back into fair. You're looking like it's about to go, all right, foul ball. And then it goes fair. What do we got to do? We got to live with the call, right? Because we already killed it. So, again, timing on everything. Go ahead.
One thing I've seen is when the ball is coming in and it's right down the middle, and I see my partner is back there behind the plate, and they start calling a strike, and the kid swings late and hits the ball.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's what I would worry about most.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wait until it's in the glove of the catcher or gone past him before you call anything.
It's called catcher presentation. Let that catcher present that pitch to you. And again, that's all part of timing and make sure we have it. So when we talk about priorities, virtually in order, you're first there for balls and strikes. Again, as a one-person mechanic, you're there to call balls and strikes. That's your number one priority. After that, you've got to keep an eye out for fair foul. Very obvious. Then, if that's a fair ball, then you're looking for catch, no catch, if this is going on down the line or whatnot. Safe and outs. And then finally, you are not the entertainment out there, guys. I think the biggest compliment for an umpire is to walk away and have people realize, I don't even know, was there an umpire there? That's the ultimate compliment, that you are not part of the action at all. Okay. So that's the kind of the order of the four most important things. I can tell you, then this is another experience thing. The entertainment side of it is my first year. I was out at St. Francis High School. I think it was a sophomore game or something on it, first or second year. And I was one of these guys, I'm a salesman, so I'll yuck it up and everything else. And first inning, top of, and there's a low and away. I think I strike it or didn't strike it, but somebody yells, oh. So I'd walk over to the fence at the half inning, Mr. Clown, and says, who didn't like my low and away strike? And, it was her. And so everybody laughing. So every half inning, I'm at the backstop, yucking it up like an absolute goof. And it's now the bottom of the seventh. I'm having a great time. 1 or 2 outs. I get 2 outs, whatever, 1 out. Fly ball to center field. It's a catch. So I got out there and I lined up perfectly, as we'll go over in a minute, lined up perfectly to see that tag up at third and catch that catch, no catch. So I've got everything right in front of me as I'm going well beyond first base line extended. And I've got that catch. I got catch, go back over to home. I'm now third base line extended. I've got a perfect view with everything. It's a throw. Oh, it's a great throw. Ball comes in, down, slide into glove. And, of course, I waited to see where the ball was, and I bang it. What a great day. Awesome. Somebody from the top of the stands yells, "You've had it out for us the entire game." These were my friends. I can't believe they all turned on me. So I'm telling you, and that story continues through. I wound up talking to the guy after the game, and that's something else you shouldn't do. But Have fun, absolutely. Be approachable, all that, but you are not the entertainment. We're not out there. They're all out there to watch those kids, and that's it. So anyway, so those are some of the priorities to make sure you know when you're doing your job what you've got. As we talked about it, the getting angles, guys, we are giving up on distance. As one man, we are giving up on distance. Two man and making those plays at the each base, boy, we want to be at that cutout and so on, absolutely, because you've got backup. But we are giving up on distance to make sure that we've got the angle to see a play develop where it's at. So we're going to go over working area and where all that's going to go. But angles over distance. That's one of the biggest things you can live by, is making sure you get the good look at the play rather than trying to be on top of it. Okay? So before I go to the kind of the game management side of it, any questions at all? Anybody kind of, what are you talking about or anything? So we're all good, right? Awesome. So the next thing is, get into some plays, and after that is the idea of, well, should I know all the rules in this book versus how to be able to keep a game flowing and so on. I'm not saying don't worry about the rules, but if you're going to get something down for this level, get your base awards down, making sure that and there's one section, a lot of people make a copy of it and kind of laminate it and keep it in their book or whatever, but get your base awards, okay, if you're going to get anything at all. There's plenty of things online. Once the season starts, the Fox Valley Blues Facebook page, if anybody's on Facebook or anybody gets into that, get on there, because everybody's posting, plays of that day and so on. So there's a lot of things online you can learn about and so on, but a lot of things you can pick up on that. But game management, though, I think is even more important than rules knowledge, not to take anything away from that. You are setting the entire tone for how that game is going to go from the moment you step on that field. So 5 minutes before the game starts, you're dressed, you're got everything proper, you're holding yourself proud and so on. Get out to the tip of that plate, and you got coaches. You got that first plate meeting. Don't go running up the third base side. I'm coach. We have a meeting, coach, and then go up the wall all the way up the first base side where the head coach is out there hitting fungos or whatever. You deserve some respect, guys. We're out there for that. Just at the plate. Guys, coach is meeting, coach. And they come in, and we start our plate meeting. Don't run around the field trying to chase people down. Okay, you guys, we're paid, we're professionals to be there. Act like it. Don't chase anybody around. Less is more. I coined that phrase myself. Phil Papillo is going to claim he did, but Phil's one of his great things is this whole idea that less is more, guys. Plate meeting, you should be able to count the amount of seconds it took you, not the amount of minutes. Okay, so it's just, you can do a little bit of homework ahead of time as far as figuring out who the coaches are, but sometimes they might, at the younger levels, might have a different coach rotate in here or there, but find out that it's Joe and John that are the home and away coach, and you walk up, I'm Ed, you're Joe, right? John, right? And just guys, are we legally properly equipped? We legally and properly equipped. You got to get that yes. And now we're okay as far as liability goes, that everybody's set, because you used to have to check all the bats and helmets and so on. We don't have to do that anymore. So that's a quick run around the field. Guys, I'm a heck of a nice guy. I say this every game. If you have any questions about anything, ask for time. I'll give you what I got. Is that fair? Yes, no problem at all. IHSA has something about talking about a little spiel about sportsmanship they want you to give at the plate. To me, I kind of feel like my saying, hey, I'm a pretty good guy. If you want anything, I'm approachable. Ask for time. I'll give you what I have. That to me kind of says, hey, listen, you know what? Let's be good to each other. If you want something, I'm approachable. I'm not the guy that's going to give you any hard time at all. My opinion, if you start getting into that whole sportsmanship spiel, that kind of says, I got yelled at a lot yesterday, and I don't want to get yelled at today. So please be nice to me. But that's totally up to how you guys want to handle your plate meeting. But less is more as far as getting that done. Strike zone is where you earn your reputation amongst guys that are here, guys in Fox Valley Blues that you're going to potentially work with over the summer for tournaments and so on. Your reputation as an umpire by both coaches, players, and our fellow umpires alike is your strike zone. That's where that's your moneymaker, so to speak. You're only as good as that. No one says he was one heck of a base umpire. It's on your strike zone, and you've got to get comfortable and find that rhythm to be able to get good at that. That's where you're going to get it. Tempo of the game. You guys know that there's 8 pitches for the starting pitchers to warm up, and then there's 5 for every pitcher thereafter. Does everybody understand that? So they're given 8. I think Phil went into this, but I wait till after the plate meeting. I step back from the plate. I'm assuming at that point they already gave me baseballs that I've tucked away in the bag. Catcher from the home team comes up, pitcher comes out. Oftentimes, he'll want one. Maybe after the plate meeting, just roll the ball up to the mound. That catcher comes up to you and says, "Blue, my name's Billy." All right, you could have a conversation with Billy now. That catcher doesn't come up and say anything and just gets in to do his thing. Don't talk to him, guys. If something comes up or whatever, but oftentimes the guy that wants to be talked to, he'll come up and introduce himself. Oftentimes a coach will get upset that you're trying to, especially at the younger level, you're trying to coach his catcher. So don't worry about talking to him if he comes up. But what I do is I let 2 come in, then I take 2 from his left, 2 from his right, and then I walk away. Billy, you got 2 more on deck. We got 2, and then you're on the foul line. You're not walking in the dugouts. You're not there to make friends. You're not there yucking it up. You're on the foul line, and when that throw goes down, set yourself up in a routine. What I do, whether it needs it or not, I always dust the plate off after that. After that warm up, and then I get back into position, and it's a quick play ball. Okay, so get yourself into a little bit of a routine, but so that you know that that's what you're going to do every single time. But that tempo is on you. Keep the game moving. Pitcher comes off, players come off. Let's go, guys. Pitch, come on. Okay, we got 5. Take it down when there's 2 left. On 2 or whatever. But that way, you are in charge of kind of keeping the flow of the game going. Foul ball out of play. You know what? No matter how much you look, nothing exciting is really going to happen. Okay? As soon as that foul ball goes, it's gone. Here you go, Billy. Get that ball into play and be ready to go. Incidentally, as far as putting the ball into play, always do it, guys. This is going to be something you really got to get used to. That foul ball, that went over the backstop, it's a quick hand. You don't have to foul ball. Well, yeah, everybody saw it go over the backstop. Save that foul ball when it's hitting chalk in the outfield. Okay, although that's fair, but you know what I mean. So it goes just outside that chalk in the outfield. Save that cell for that opportunity. If you're yelling, screaming every time there's something over the backstop, but as soon as that goes over, get another ball in and go. Every 5-10 seconds that you can pick up like that will save time later, and it keeps the game going, and it keeps you from kind of lulling off and losing some attention.
Eddie, should you throw a ball back to the pitcher? Or should you let
That's up to you, but you're going to really look like a goof if that sails over his head, or worse yet, drops short, okay? The pitcher has to come off the mound to get your low, and he twists his ankle, okay? The recommendation is that Timmy's a stud, so that thing's going to go right back, at 80 plus. But the recommendation would be to toss it back and have the catcher, take it back to the mound. Just that, like I said, that way anything goes bad, sailing over his head, going short, you're not the one that did it, okay? So that would be my recommendation. But again, keeping it moving is the name of the game. That's what you're looking to try to do. So quick ins and outs. Sticking to 5 pitches on warm-ups, but you're still approachable, though, but you're keeping that game moving, all right? And it takes me right to being approachable. There are some of us that are a tad curmudgeon-y more than others, but that's a personality they've got to deal with. Approachable is a good thing, guys. There's nothing wrong with being approachable. But approachable is not going over to the dugout and saying, "Hey, coach, how you doing?" You're on that foul line. You've got the 5 pitches coming in, and somebody's walking by you. You know what? You're alone. You're one guy. So don't run the assistant coach because he said, "Hey, I got a quick question." So there's nothing wrong with, especially at the younger levels, being approachable, guys. Don't do it. Have all that self-confidence in the world. Look proud on that foul line, but don't be a red arse, guys. Let them. If there's a question or something like that, by all means, guys, we're out there to have fun, okay? We're all a little different in this. But to me, this is my golf. Somebody says, "Why do you umpire?" or whatever. This is my escape. The phone goes in the trunk. I forget about work. I forget about what's going on and so on. I got 2 hours or so that I've got to myself, my own thing going. This honestly is my golf. I hope that's the same way you guys look at it, because sometimes the guys that are out there and it's their job and you can tell, you can tell. So, have fun with it. So here we go. This is your working area. It is awesome if we can get out at that cutout here and here. If we can be all the way up here to see a pulled foot and so on. The name of the game in solo, guys, is not to get overcommitted and be able to adjust at any point. Because being that ball player that maybe, not me, but if you're a ball player that played through college and everything else, and that play is coming to second, that's where that play's got to go. Why in the world would he not try to get R1 right here? As soon as you work your way all the way up there, that you're ready, because that's where it's supposed to go. This is America. That freshman's got to throw it over there. So now you're sitting here, and if you don't get plunked in the head, you were out of position anyway. So this is our working area. This is our office. This is where we're going to call a lot. And we're going to be able to sneak here. We're going to be able to sneak here. But this is our safe zone to be able to take 2 steps in any direction and be able to get a good angle at those 3 bases, provided, of course, that our responsibility wasn't to stay at home. You have any potential runners in scoring position? We need to be there, guys, because that's where the last place we should be missing. That possible play at second means nothing compared to that play at home. We've got to be ready for it. So that is what we call the working area for solo. When anybody says, get out in your working area, that's where we're going. We don't want to be back here trying to make that call at first or anything else. You're out in that field, and that's where you get that. You're breaking hustle to get out into that spot. So again, giving up angles to get distance. So again, we talked about the 4 priorities. We're one man alone. We got a fly ball anywhere, which we're going to talk about here. That fly ball that touch at first base or possible obstruction is way down the line on priorities when we've got a fair foul or catch, no catch that we should be looking at first. So to start with, we got simple plays in the infield. Okay, so we got nobody on base. Balls hit to the shortstop. Guys, we're always coming out around the left side. That way we're not getting in the way of the catcher. We're not getting in the way of the batter runner. Even if there's a batter on the other opposite box, we are still going to come out and get ourselves into that working area, getting an angle to be able to see the bag, see the touch of the bag, see the throw, and be able to make the call. So we are coming out into that working area, eyes on the ball. We're watching that ball come all the way across. I still have not turned my head as I'm waiting for that ball to come all the way across. I am now getting set. I'm looking for touch. I'm looking to see where that first baseman is. I'm looking to make sure he's got the bag, the first baseman. I'm looking for a possible swipe, but it's a quick listen to the pop, look at the foot, voluntary release to bring that ball out, and then we're going. You get excitable. You see a bang, bang play. I've got this. Absolutely. Out! And the ball dropped out of the glove. He never had it. So now there's that perception again. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. So we're waiting for that release, guys. So important, guys. The timing is so important. It's nearly as much as balls and strikes. Get that catch, wait for that release. And I'm telling you, you're going to stand there thinking, oh my God, it's been 10 minutes. It's been a half a second. Get that timing down so that there's making no mistakes there. Get that voluntary release. So clean hit then to the outfield. Now we are working our way out. What am I giving up on? Right now I'm giving up on the batter runner. I'm giving up on the touch. I'm giving up on the obstruction because that first thing I've got, of course, fair foul if it were on the line, but the first thing I have is that catch, guys. That catch and that voluntary release is the first thing I've got. Now, we also want to keep chest to the ball, knowing where that ball is all the time. Now we're taking a look, and we aren't turning and looking. We are taking a look over our shoulders, see if we can get touch, seeing if I can possibly see that first baseman coming up too far to be possible obstruction there. If it is, get it. Ted and Tim talked about that last week. And then we're looking for best angles. So here we are. We're looking at catch, no catch. That's about as far out as we got. We cleared out, came to here. We got the catch. Now we sneak out to about here. Here's where I was saying that you could do some sneaking out of that working area. You've got 2-3 steps you could easily get to see a possible play at second, but you've not overcommitted if this clown decides, oh no, and wants to come back to first. So don't overcommit the second thinking you look fantastic over here, and he goes back to first base, and now you've got to make up 4 steps to get back to first. So it's a lot of splitting the angles to be able to get to a point. Keep hitting the wrong button. Keep getting to the point where you can see both plays then here and here. But again, before anything else, you've got to get that catch first. Don't overthink it. Next is now the same type of play. And what happened, what we were afraid of if we would have overcommitted up here, is we had a ball get thrown out of play. Not out of play, I'm sorry. Get a ball thrown over the first baseman's head and it's rolling through the grass. Now your responsibility is I'm letting go of obstruction. I'm letting go of where that runner's going. Now my responsibility is killing it if that ball rolls into a dugout or rolls through a fence. So now you're just looking for ball. Again, priority is knowing where that ball is at all times too. So you're looking now for that ball to make sure that that thing's staying in play. Now when you see that comes to a rest or gets touched, now you're getting yourself to a possible angle to make sure that you've got an angle here and you've got an angle here if he comes back. Now you've also got possible obstruction. That first baseman now is trying to go down the line after picking this ball up here to chase him down, throws it the second. He decides to come back and it collides with that first baseman. Now you've got that obstruction to go with as well. And all the while, you were right in here where you snuck out a little beyond our working area so that you're 2 steps from either making that call here or making that call here. Yeah.
So any on that obstruction call on the way back to first base in a Fed game?
Timmy. Go ahead.
What are we going to award the runner?
Well, yeah, the runner always gets the next base he was advancing. Softball, he does. She doesn't, or he doesn't. Softball, they don't. But you get the base. Did I pressure there, John?
Extremely
Softball.
proud of you, Ed.
But yeah, you get the next base. So he gets that. That's obstruction. Let the play go out. Tim and Ted had this last week. Let that play run out, and then award after the fact. Okay, but you're calling that. If it is left-handed now, this is your power hand, okay? So this is your strikes and outs, okay? Everything else is with your left hand. The mask, everything. This is outs, this is strikes, that's it. So that's obstruction. More than likely, everybody's going to stop and stare at you and then kill it and award bases, okay? But the most important thing is you are set for no matter where he's going because you did not overcommit. How we doing? Everybody good? All right. So we got a clean hit to the outfield. Again, we got a catch, no catch situation, and he's going to get extra bases. All right. So this is another possible overcommit situation here. You got to use your judgment, guys, and play percentages. All right. For those of us that have been ball players all our lives, instinct will kick in as far as the judgment goes on how far into the outfield that went, how the outfielders are going after it. People that just plain love the game, they're going to be more apt to a lot of hard knocks of games, come to realize I better not commit anymore when it's that far out in the outfield and so on. So you start using your judgment now. This thing cleared to the fence. Center fielder was playing it way in. He's going out. I know he's going to leg it. And I'm not going to try to chase down an 18-year-old. If you misjudge that and think that's going to be at second and you wind up overcommitting to be here at second base, there's no way after he rounds second that you're going to be able to get him at third, let alone what if he tries going back home again? He slides into the plate, the ball's there, and you're still huffing and puffing right there and can't even breathe. So, again, it's the whole idea of not overcommitting, but this case, it's more than that. You need to judge where you should be. Because if it was, if it was a shot that was picked up on 5 hops and you need to be right here then. But if you want to see, if you start to understand the game and so on, that one beyond that center fielder going to the fence, now you're playing split the angles here because you've got one of 3 different situations here. You got him possibly going back to second, into third, or taking that gamble and getting back home again. So playing the percentages would mean I'm not going to get that far out if I really think he can get back home again. So that's when we're going on opposite side. And again, being able to judge where that outfield is and where it's going. Anything? We're all good? Yeah.
So if he does commit to home, do you ever cross the foul line?
You know what? You've got to get, if this means if he's committed to home, your judgment's lousy. Okay? So my point being, now you're just plain trying to recover. Last thing I want to do is try to get in front of him. If, that percentage, that had to be really bad, or maybe some overthrows or whatever. Now you're just coming straight up and doing the best you can to be able to get some kind of angle on that. So again, that's a judgment call where we need to start thinking percentages. If you think there's a chance that that's going to be an inside the park home run, that center fielder was just out of it, fell, something or other, you're going to know before he gets to third that I better leg it back home. So again, that's a play your percentages on where you think that's going. That center fielder falls down. Yeah, I'd leg it back. Absolutely. Anybody think anything different? A real curiosity thing, that's all. Okay.
You're going to call plays from in front of home plate. That's going to be inevitable at lower levels when the ball is thrown around and everything. And a surefire double, and you're committed out to where the pitcher's mound is, and there's an overthrow, and the race begins, and it ends up heading towards home. Unless you're a speed demon, you aren't going to get behind the plate. So you want to get yourself the best look you can from in front of the plate. Yeah. Watch the play at home.
And let's be honest, if something happened, center fielder fell a couple of times trying to throw it into the infield, something or other, we wind up here where a coach is going to say, you're way out of position. Any coach is going to realize you did the absolute best you could on the circus that came to town out here in center field at that time. So, again, that's where we want to stay married as much as we can to that working area, that we're not overcommitted one way or the other. That's a bad spot, no matter what. Yeah, because you're in the field of play, you're hitting the back of the head, something or other. So, yeah, you're in a horrible spot right here if that happened. But to me, the percentages will tell you I'm going to know that's going to happen before he gets anywhere close to third base. So that's going to give me that time that I'm going to huff it back here and be ready to go third base line extended. So I would hope you would know that that's the case and you should get back.
Why it's so important to know where the ball is.
all the time.
Right. On those extra base hits, when you got runners running around by yourself, ball's gonna tell you where to go.
Yep.
You have to be real careful with throwbacks. If he's rounding third base, you're overcommitting behind the plate, might be a throwback to third, and you're way out of position.
Yeah.
And same deal if he's going back to second base, because you think he might have third. So you just have to be aware of all that.
And that I'm telling you, that's going to happen. I would not suggest doing this more than once a game. I wouldn't suggest to do this more than once or twice a season. But there's also that throwback to third you're talking about. You know what? I was in position at home, coach. I didn't get in my spot to be able to see that play at third. I just plain missed it. I didn't think that was going anywhere. That play blew up on me. And that coach is going to say, all right, I get it. Thank you. Now, he comes out and asks where that pitch was. I wasn't looking, coach. I'm sorry. I'll get it the next, But that'll work for you once. That'll work for you once for a coach in your career. But my point is, there's nothing wrong with saying, I'm going to keep working hard at it. But yes, I missed that one. I got myself out of position. Okay?
Hey, Ed, you say,
Tim, you got a phone call. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
hey, yeah, Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll call. Phil wants you to, you say in the beginning, when you do the hustling, you talked about the hustling, I think that'll give you some more credibility on those types of calls?
I mean, yeah, it shows you're not standing behind the plate, guys. That's a real good point. That's what we're talking about when we're saying hustling is you're not waiting for that play to develop, standing behind the plate the whole time. So unless you've got runners in position, in running position and a shot where you think he's going to round third and come home, your duty then is to stay home and cover the plate. Now, if you notice, I said that R2 is going to round third and come home on that possibility, because if you got a runner on third, as I described in one of the stories, that there's a fly to the outfield, I think I even have a slide for this. You're actually standing here because you want to line up that tag that he's going to tag up in your same vision as that catch. So I think there's a slide on that as well. But again, it all leads to perception, guys. Absolutely. You hustle out there and you're hustling out just to the working area. I'm not saying to go anywhere else, but you're hustling out there ready to go. Man, this guy's working. He's having a good time. That's awesome. But man, there's nothing worse than watching somebody just standing behind the plate. Nah, he's out at first. I mean, that's awful. Okay. And we've probably seen games like that. So anyway, it's a lot of judgment that you're going to get, guys, as you're going on, that it's just school of hard knocks, so to speak. So here we go, a fly ball to right field, guys. Again, we have to start thinking what our priorities are. You've got to view it as the possible fair foul, but you were talking about a catch that was not made. So now we are looking at the possibility of where he's going to go with that. So we aren't able to get very far because we had to stay here to watch that catch. Complete exaggeration that I'm thinking I can get all the way up there, but we're going to see that catch. We are going to call it. Then we're going to see if we can grab and touch it first, because that's always going to come back at you. And then we're going to try to get into position to get an angle. Again, an angle, not the distance to get all the way up here. Because when we get all the way up here, an overthrow at second, we're here racing an 18-year-old. And geez, do we just cut it and go here and get down here? Or do we try to meet him up here? Do we trip over the mound? Now we got ourselves overcommitted as far as, being able to cover any sort of scenario, because you're going to see all sorts of stuff at the younger levels. So again, angle over distance. We're giving up on that distance. This is, I think, one of the hardest plays for a guy working solo is stealing second base. Because, man, instinctively, we want to get out there and get that. But, wow, we have got a lot to do before we have anything to worry about on this here. We have got to see this go. So, we're seeing him take off. We're hearing everybody yelling, he's going, he's going. But we still have to stay with that pitch, make that catcher present it, we've got to judge whether it was a ball or strike. What do you mean he checked up on his swing? I didn't see him swing. I mean, we've got to see if there's any sort of check swing at all. You know, is it 2 strikes? Is it a drop third strike? There's a lot we have to find out. Did that batter swing at it and then roll in front of the catcher to get a possible interference on him throwing it down to second? All of that before we can get our maybe 2 steps over and get an angle on that slide into second base.
Yeah, that's something that, when you were saying batter interference, you can also have catcher's interference.
Yeah,
too.
absolutely, yeah.
So let's say if you have R1 stealing to second and you have catcher's interference and you have R1 out at second and you have catcher's interference.
Yeah. So, yeah, we've got
Yeah,
all that to deal with. Absolutely. So that's a lot. All of that before we even get down there. Now, we're working alone. We're on the younger levels. That ball beats that runner down there. That tag goes down to make that play. Guys, get the out, okay? If it's blatant something or other, but don't be that guy to say he missed that tag from 150 feet away. Get that out. Now, if it's incredibly obvious and so on, but get that opportunity when it's dealt to you that you got all that done. You did all that right. Everything happened there perfectly. Go ahead and get the out. Quite frankly, you get 2 or 3. We got the ball down. The ball beat him there. We got the tag down. I got that. I'm going to go ahead and take that, okay? Yeah.
Did you have your mask on or off when you made that call?
You know what? Actually, I don't know if you're being a Timmy or not, but that's actually an excellent question because that depends on how, seriously, for guys that are doing this, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, okay, I think I'd have the time to be able to do that. But that's your comfort level to be able to get that mask off in a hurry. So is there anything wrong with seeing it with the mask on? No, if that's how you can get to that spot to get that angle right away, it's more important that you're there to see that. If you make that out call, I'd get that mask off. And that way, if there's any question or anything else, kind of like my cheating and getting a couple of steps on that safe call, same thing, get the mask off.
Are you calling a strike?
Yeah, if we got a strike, we've got to call a strike, yeah. Absolutely. So we've got to, you've got to strike that pitch. So anyway, this to me, I think this is one of the most difficult things is being able to see that, okay? Yeah.
I know you got it up there. Is there any thought process going to the left or third base, going to the right?
When you're coming out?
Yeah.
Yes, always, guys, you're always coming across on the left side. Like we talked about getting into the working area to see that play at first. Get out on this side. That's why I put the helmet actually on this side. I had the batter on that box. Thanks, John. Because you want to come out and see that angle. If you come out over here, now you're looking up the behind of that runner. Tim, I didn't mean to upset you.
I feel exactly.
So if you're coming out this way, you've gotten that angle. Your angle's gone. So now you're not even able to see that tag down now because you're looking up the back of that runner. Okay? So you're always coming out to the left on virtually everything. Let's see. So we got a possible double play ball. Same kind of thing now. Get into your working area. You are going to have that possible play at first. Don't automatically assume that's going to go to second base, but you're still looking to get out this way. You're looking for that angle. Don't be afraid to play that, to call that force play slide rule, to call that interference. Does everybody understand what the force play slide rule is? I'll tell you anyway. Legally, you've got to slide directly into the bag. So if that runner is going to, play Major League Baseball from 10 years ago or whatever and slide this thing wide, get that interference, guys, and you're killing it. So you're here, not just looking good, but you're killing it, actually. You're killing the play. So you're coming out here. If he slides wide into the shortstop coming across, that's interference. Time. Batter runner's out. Get it. Okay. And then the coach will inevitably wind up coming out. Coach, I had him sliding wide. right into the shortstop, that's textbook, coach. Go ahead and try to get that play. So that's something you're watching for as well. And again, now you're looking for tags. Make sure he's got it there. You're not overcommitted. And you're also turning and catching the play at first as well. So you're trying to get that double play, staying in your working area, and you're not overcommitting to anything. Okay? So we've gotten through the biggest stuff with our runner on anyway.
Back up there just a second.
Yeah.
So if, as soon as the play is made at second and the runner's sliding in, you've got to turn and go to the ball. You can still have forced play slide roll after that, but when you're by yourself, you're not going to be able to call it. So
Well, I disagree with you there. You can still get that call.
You got to turn with the ball. So there's a chance you're going to.
There's a chance you might not get it.
So what you might have at any point during the game, but in that play, you may have the coach come out to you. And two things. As soon as you see him coming out for the newer guys, he's probably going to come out just to ask a question. So don't get all panicked. You got about 15 seconds, 10 seconds. Think about what you just saw, and you have a pretty good idea what he's going to ask you. So when that question comes, you can just give him the answer and have a nice cordial conversation with him. Don't tell him, if you paid for 2 umpires, we would have got that.
Yeah.
Never say that, because that's not their fault. They would love to have 2 umpires out there too.
Guys, less is absolutely more. And what I think Ted's getting at is, you don't have to give them your life story about what you have led up to that play that day. Okay, you know what, Coach? I had the bag at second base, and I stayed with ball and took him into first. That's what I got, Coach. So I mean, you don't have to go into the the whole oh, I don't know. I mean, I kind of saw him go wide. I kind of wasn't sure. You know what? That's what I had. Period. Okay, tell Jeff to stop texting me. So
And still Bradley telling me to shut up at your show.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe. So anyway, so after that, guys, you still are on the clock for where that swipe tag was. If he got that, if the first baseman or the second baseman is off the bag, doesn't have the foot on it to make that play, guys, get to that bag. See the foot. You got to see everything. And timing. Take your time. Voluntary release. Go ahead.
You also have a pitcher on the mound.
Yep.
Once he releases that ball and the runner's going, depending on which way he normally goes, you may want to be going to the opposite side. So you may want to go to the first base side if he's gone to the.
Oh yeah, in this particular
base.
play, you're absolutely going to be on the first base side. So yeah, you want to be on the first base side on this particular play here. I think what you're saying is try to avoid the players.
Well, the
Is that what you're saying?
pitcher's going to get in your way.
You've got to do your job too, though. See, this is where it gets hard, because you're not taking the stand that, oh, forget about it, I'm doing my job. But at the same point, you're doing your job too. So you really can't move yourself around to try to. I'm trying. You can't get in the way, obviously, but you don't necessarily want to give up on your angle or give up on what play you're making, because he's not in the play for that matter, coming off the mound. So you want to be able to make sure you're not affecting the play, but you can't let a player that is in your way stay in your way either. 22, give me room, like the on deck guy that will come running up on the play at the plate to tell him to go up or stay or get down and so on. You know what? Hey, 21, give me room. Come on. So there's that too. There's some fine lines there. If you're doing 2-man and that second baseman would like you to move, Blue, could you go step to your right? Hey, no problem. Hey, Blue, I need 7 to the left. I don't think so. I'll give you one. There you go. Okay. So that's that fine line is what I mean. I think I know what you're saying. You don't want a collision or anything else.
Well, not a collision, but
Right.
you've gone 3 feet into the infield, and the pitcher is coming over, blocking your view
Right.
of the play at second. You want to be
Oh,
able
yeah.
to move.
So,
You're not-
right. I thought you were describing it as going to the left in lieu of the right. To avoid that pitcher possibly being in your angle way, don't go over to the left and try to make up for it over here because the pitcher decided to come over here and watch. So you can, just get over to the left. You're always got to give yourself an angle. And an angle might not be perfect. You may be set, and you still have to get that step angle to be able to see something, because all of a sudden the pitcher came in your
I think what we're talking about is a follow through with the pitcher, and that can be in your line, but where I think it comes mostly into play is on a pickoff second. Which way he's whirling. That you can be directly.
Absolutely. If you're talking about plain line of sight, absolutely. Yeah, you've got to be able to make that step to be able to see something. I mean, that's why when you're trying to make a play, you can't lock yourself up for a play at any base, because now you're taking that option to be able to get out of the way. So you're still athletically down, but you can still make that quick step and still get an angle. That's why we don't want to lock up when we're trying to get set to make a play. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then obviously, even when it's an R1 stealing second and you're from behind the plate and you're only able to step out to here, you're still going to have that, some kind of crazy follow through, Mitch Williams kid or something here that you're going to have to get around to be able to see that play down at second. So, all right. So that's that double play ball. We've got, a clean hit to the outfield. We're still looking at that. We got possible play at third, but we're not overcommitting. It's if we do have to come home. I think I'm typical. I'm talking too much. So getting angles to be able to make that and getting yourself into position on this when you've got to hit to the outfield. We got the no catch. I think we had something similar to this already, but we got the fair foul. All this action up here now, okay? You got the R1's coming into second. You've got some possible play going over to third. You've got batter, runner coming down. Your first thing, guys, is we've got to see fair foul or catch, no catch. Nothing else. He may have second base maybe standing right there. Guys, you shouldn't be catching that. You shouldn't be seeing that, because we've got fair foul, catch, no catch as our first two priorities. That's where we give up with one man, is the ability to be able to stop that. Is that going to stop that coach from coming out screaming, he tripped my coach? I got fair foul. I got catch, no catch. That's my third responsibility, coach. I'm sorry I couldn't see that one, but I got priorities first. And that's literally what you can say. So stay with it. And then you're trying to recover, guys. Now you're just doing the best you can to get back into fair play. And this even more now, because you were stuck on right field line on a long fly ball. Now that's all you can do is get 3, 4, 5 steps and get yourself set for anywhere on any base. So you got runners on first and second. Should be thinking automatically, I've got an infield fly situation. By rule, you're covered if you don't call it. Don't be that guy. Know the situation. Know that player is getting camped under the ball. You see him squared up and camped. Get that infield fly call, okay? Don't rely on being able to tell the coach, yeah, I know I missed it, but by rule, it's still a play. It's still infield fly rule. Don't be that guy. And then you've got everything left here, depending on where that is. You've got that possible play at third if he wants to put him out. You've got that possible play going to first. Don't overcommit up here, because by all means, he should be coming here with that ball and get that force here. But as soon as you overcommit, you get plunked because that kid decided to go to first. That stuff is going to happen constantly, okay? Again, runners on. You got a clean hit to the outfield again. This is a good scoring position now. You got R1 and R2. Your ultimate responsibility is to be there when the play winds up coming home. So now you're getting out a little bit, kind of assessing where we're at. And that play at third, possible overthrow, so I'm not going to go too far. But you want something here to be able to quickly recover and be able to make that play at the plate. Again, that's the most important spot to make sure you're covered. Far more important than getting that possible throw out at second base. All right? Okay, here's where you're going to start moving all over the place. We talked about it a little bit, guys, but especially here now, you've got that tag-up situation on a fly ball to left field. This is where I had it out for that team the entire game, was a play just like this. you're getting an angle now to get out here, and that's pretty darn deep, to be honest. This is the tip of the plate. I mean, we're way over here, so I've got that catch, and I'm lined up with the tag up at third, and I've got all of it. And then with you standing there, everybody knows you've got that. The possibility now of that not being a catch, he scores, he's coming down the line, you're rotating up now into play, but this is where you're selling. Coach, I saw that touch. I'm looking at it. There's touch. Now I'm back into play. So you make it very visible that I got that touch at home, because somebody's going to wind up saying, he didn't touch the plate. He didn't touch the plate. Well, but they're also they'll see that you're looking right at that, and I got touch. Don't rely on the cleat sound. We all know what that sounds like, and we all know that, okay, he touched the plate, but get that look. Get that quick look over the shoulder. And you can also sell that knowing that you got yourself into position to be able now to pick up any other plays here or here, because you were able to take a quick look over your shoulder and you got that touch at home. As soon as he's coming down, you're looping around into play, and now you've got great angles here, and you aren't stuck out here. You wait too long to see that touch from there, you may still be in foul territory trying to call that out at second or looking up the back of the fielder here at third. This is another one of those, you're trying to run into a spot now because we're only one guy, right? So are there any other situations, scenarios, something you had before, something that, good? Okay.
Seems like we're always going to be on the foul side.
You're going to be on the left side of the pitcher, but you're going to, he's got it. He's got a hit, or is he stealing? But yeah, if he's stealing third, you've got everything to take care of first. You've got, you've got to make that judgment. You've got to call ball strike. You got to make sure there's no check. You got to know your situation as far as what the count was anyway. But then think about it, you're really not going to be able to get much more than a couple steps. I think that's the worst spot to actually make a steal call, to make an out call. It really is. You're looking straight up at it. Odds are you're going to have a possible leg in front of the bag anyway. You're not going to have a clean look at that bag. There again, that ball hit, that glove went down. He didn't chase the runner coming at him. That glove went right down. You sell it. If you think you can get it. Yeah, but to get to the inside, if it's on a steal, you cannot get to the inside. Ted could, but most of us could not get to the inside that fast. Now on a hit, you can. I'm sorry?
If the ball's coming in time, third baseman can actually be screening you because he's making it.
Well, yeah.
And then he's coming in body, and you're looking at his back.
That's the toughest spot to make a call, is that steal a third. I mean, it's brutal. But tag up's a third. Down the right field line, maybe I'll give that to you. But you know what? You can get those tag ups, guys. And that lead runner tag up is the one you're getting. I don't care if that R1 tagged up at first. That coach is going to a dozen times in your season. I guarantee it. Running first didn't tag. That's nice, coach. So, but again, approachably. But that's where, that I gave up on that. I'm not worried about R1.
Along the same line of steal the third, I pick up the first or I pick up the third. Basically, you realize the next thing.
If you got to pick off, oh yeah, now you're still stuck, right? Yeah, there's all you could do is try to fight for angles, but there's been plenty of opportunities where you're not gonna be able to at all. Good.
In that scenario, if the left fielder throws the ball home, where do you have to get to? You've seen a clean tag up. It's good.
You want third base line extended as a general rule. If you're going to write down something, third base line extended to be able to see that play come in. But at the same point, you're going to kind of let the catcher take you around to where he's going with that ball. So, if you start to rotate around a little bit to get your angle, Don't just go by the hard, fast rule. I'm third baseline extended. This is where they said to be. Get yourself again with angles that you can make that call. A couple things if I can real quick that I forgot. Calling time, guys. We all do that too much. It's part of game management. We're calling time too much. We got a legged out double, okay? So we are out there and we're out in the working area. We're on the right side of the mound there. We're looking up and we're making that call at second base. See that ball, make that call, make your judgment, but then just turn and keeping an eye on the ball, you're hustling to go back. In my opinion, that R1 steps off the bag. Give that kid that held on to that ball at second base, give him that opportunity to tag him. Know where that ball is, though. Don't come back and, expect the pitcher to have the ball and get suckered in by that hidden ball trick or something like that. But know where the ball is all the time, but keep the game moving. We don't have to call time nearly as much as we often do. So get back into your spots, know where the ball is, and keep the ball in play. When you do call time, you have to put that ball back into play. Time. You went back, you got yourself all set, and they picked off the kid at first. Well, did I call time or not? It's the third or fourth inning. But you know what? I always put the coach, hey, I put the ball in play. Let's go. Back on the mound, guys. Ball's not in play. All right? Play. Okay? So you are controlling some of the circus yourself by always putting that ball back into play. I'm trying to think of some other tip stuff as far as that goes.
Well, you brought up, all the time, so a lot of times it's way too much time being called, right? You get a hit to the outfield, the runners have settled where they're gonna be, and you got the shortstop coming in, and he's got the ball. All of a sudden, he's throwing his arms up, wanting you to get time.
Yeah. No, guys, you don't have to. You do not have to give time. A player running in, the reason he's doing that is just in case he throws it over the pitcher's head or something like that. You know what? No, 16, you're fine. Bring the ball in. Come on, get the ball in. Let's go. No problem with that. That's absolutely. That's again part of game management. That you're not taking all this time now to call time. Again, 3, 5, 10 seconds every time of that type of thing. You're saving a whole mess of time. Yep.
Speaking of game management, I learned in my first freshman game last year was that, especially in a play conference for freshman game, especially early in the season, remind the coaches to have those on deck batters shag the foul balls. So
Excellent. Yes.
I probably added 30 minutes to that game because they're just waiting constantly.
Yeah. Right. Yep. And again, if you don't bring it up at the plate meeting, the first time that goes out, the ball to the backstop or whatever, on deck, help us out here, buddy. Here you go, Billy. Here's the ball. Okay, Mark.
Hi, Ed.
Hi, Mark.
I think you should just talk about rundowns a little bit, about finding the sweet spot on a rundown and chasing the ball.
Yeah. Again, here you are completely alone. Let's say we've got R1 in a rundown. Okay. I think I'm just going to I have some blank slides here, so I don't have to worry about anybody on or anything, so we're not confusing anything. Okay, there. So we've got R1 in a possible rundown, guys. Again, you're playing angles now. You can't get distance. You can't keep up with this back and forth. Get yourself planted here. You've got a possible, look out for possible overthrows and so on, but you are taking a step or two, and you're trying to track down that rundown. You cannot get up to here, get back, Ted can't, but you cannot get back and forth trying to keep up with that play. Again, it's allowing yourself to have angles, and you're always 2 or 3 steps from any sort of play at all.
What if you have runners at first and third and you have multiple runners?
You know what?
What's one man where?
Put up the big top. That's
got one baseball.
Yeah.
So you stay with the baseball.
But again, guys, it's angles. So he's talking about a possible rundown between. Well, you know how? Okay, so you've got you got a walk. All right, you got a runner on third, and the assistant coach sends him to second. Says go. So he walks. He comes up. He takes off. He's taking off for second. That's a great play they do at this level because they want the circus to come to town up here so this guy can score. Well, now all of a sudden they've got him in a rundown here. Every time they're touching the ball here or touching the ball here, they're looking over here. So now you're playing, I want to get my head out of the way, and I want to get hit with the ball, but you've got to split the difference now, guys. This is one of those thanks a whole heck of a lot kind of plays that happen to you. You're literally right here now. So, I dare you to try to yell at me that I wasn't in position for one this way or the score up here. But yeah, you're a couple steps out, and that's about all you got. There's not much more you can do than that. Good.
Going back to the plate conference, do you ask them for lineup cards at the freshman level?
You know what? Everybody says, geez, you know what? That would be great. What winds up happening is they don't have a lineup card done. So you've got the possibility of, hey, am I going to make more delays? However, it's awesome, guys, to start learning that then rather than your first varsity game. Okay? So, yeah, take the lineup and do it yourself. Don't even worry about it if they have it for you. And make your own markings, make your substitutions on there and keep track of the pitchers on there and so on, just to start getting used to it. Like I say, that's something you don't have to worry about then trying to pick up when you start getting into, upper level games where there's going to be mandatory and you're trying to figure out how do I keep track of my lineup card. So it's a good thing to do if they have it. Good.
Question from TV Land. What all do you go over in pregame stuff? Like how early before the game do you arrive at the field, and what do you let the coach know that you're there?
Yeah, excellent. You know what? If you can, 30 to 45 minutes ahead of time, if for no other reason than to decompress. I have a hard time separating where sometimes, as much as I like it to be my escape, I can spend the first 2 innings wondering if I got that change order process that I was supposed to email at 1:00 and I forgot. So I like, you get there 45 minutes if you can ahead of time, just to kind of decompress. And when you're there in your street clothes, coming from work or whatever, go up to the field real quick. You could be prepping the field and so on. If you did some work ahead of time to find out what his name is, but Dave, right? Dave, I'm Ed. I'm your umpire. I'm here. I just got a sandwich in the car. I'll be changed. I'll be up here 10 minutes beforehand. That good? So now, all right, good. He doesn't have to worry about getting his AD on the line saying, my umpire's not here or whatever. It's just one thing off his mind. And gives you that credibility. He's not going to say anything, but as you're walking up, all right, that's cool. I already knew he was here. That's awesome. So that helps. That helps getting a little bit of that perception thing going.
Another question from TV Land. Is it time for a commercial break? Joe needs to go to the refrigerator to get a beer.
As long as he brings one here. Also, guys, couple of things. Get yourself a mentor. Al's not giving me the hook yet or anything, so I'm going to keep going. Get yourself a mentor, guys. There are any of us any of us in FVB. I can make a comment about other sports, but get yourself a mentor that you can call anytime and go over with, okay? I certainly don't suggest it, but from day one, it's top-shied for me because I can call John and say, I had runners on first and second. I'm supposed to call something, aren't I? Yeah, Ed, it's infield fly rule. Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting that. But if I called Ted and asked him that, my God, you've been going 7 years and you got a better schedule than I do, and you don't know infield fly rule? Get that guy what's that, Lou? So I'm just saying, get that guy that you can call anytime and say, all right, I had this stupid play. I think I blew it. What would you have done or whatever? Anything at all, okay? Should I get low tops or high tops on plate shoes? What do you think? But there's a bunch, any of us would be more than happy to, guys that know what they're doing, to take those phone calls, guys, and get cell phone numbers at the clinic or whatever. That's key, is to be able to have that mentor to bounce something off of. There was something else I was just thinking of, and I can't remember now as well. Yeah. And here's the thing too. So I do, mainly because he talked me into it, but I did for a while. I did volleyball, I did lacrosse, I did basketball, and then I realized I'm not holding my job down, so I stuck back to baseball again. there's something about it. I don't know if it's baseball, if it's just Fox Valley Blues or whatever, that, boy, you really couldn't talk to a volleyball person to get some ideas because everybody's always thinking you're trying to get their schedule. They're trying to beat them out. And a lot of sports, unfortunately, I'm sorry, but it really is like that. It's something weird about this organization that there's all sorts of strange guys, but there's really no egos involved. That's key. So don't be afraid to reach out, guys. You'll be surprised how freely they'll help you out.
I think all of us who advanced could not make it and would freely say it if it wasn't for the guys who are on the upper level who selflessly have helped us along the way. Would have never made it where we are.
I don't know what it is. I don't know how that atmosphere was set up, but it really is that way. And whatever. I mean, I agreed to say that if I didn't have to pay for the shirt. So, but no, it really is, guys. There's absolutely reach out and be able to answer any questions that you could possibly think of asking. You'll get it. But all right, what'd I miss? Think of any possible scenario with stuff in the car, an extra belt, extra socks. Just throw a pair of socks in there, throw an extra belt in there. Get the indicator in there, and you know what? Try not to use that indicator very much. I was trying to get my feet wet, thinking I'd want to do some junior college stuff, and I had a game with Phil Papillo out at College of DuPage, and it was with Mike Dermis. And anyway, Phil came down the third base line, kind of smiling. He says, "Ed, what kind of indicator is that?" I was on the plate like the second inning. He said, "What kind of indicator is that?" "Oh, yeah, hey, well, here you go, Phil. Yeah, that's mine. Here you go. Take a look at that one." And he walked back to third. And I went, He said, "You look at your indicator too much." So I went the next 7 innings without an indicator, trying to keep the count. I'm not saying that to get rid of your indicator, which some guys claim to, because I can't possibly do that. But I'm telling you, you can either notch it or whatever. But some of us who have that habit of 0-1.
Did the coin already happen at the game? Or?
Yeah, I know. Right. Yeah. He still makes fun of me for it.
So you put an extra indicator in the golf.
So now I carry 5 of them. But you know what? I'm not that smart. But yeah, try not to get into that habit of looking at it all the time. That kind of thing. So, anything else, Theodore? What I miss? Anything?
Well, I think when you're the only umpire, no matter how many years you've been, one man, it's always going to happen. Or something's going to happen. You're not going to see it.
Yeah.
No matter what. Somebody's going to jump in your way, and I can see the ball here running.
Yeah. I'm telling you, your rules knowledge is going to be necessary what's the right word, but according to the age going down, you need it more and more because that's where the crazier stuff happens. The higher level you get, that ball that should be going to second base is going to go to second base more likely, but anything can possibly happen. So, one man, you're all by yourself to try to figure that out. I think you were going to say something. Good.
What's the average number of times that the coach comes out and yells time?
Yeah, you grant time, so it doesn't matter how many times he does. Again, that's the approachable thing. Now, you could give him a stern look or something like that, or you could just say, "Coach, did you need time?" Whatever. And he'll, "Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Get it." Excellent part. Reminds me, guys, the batter doesn't call time. Okay, he gets in that box. You've already got that ball in play, and he says time. Okay, by rule, the penalty is a strike, and you're calling that pitch a strike. You can get 2 strikes on that. I'm not saying be that guy, but if it becomes a problem, but he does not call time, I grant time. Let's go back in the box.
Same thing with the coach.
Same thing with the coach. You know what? I grant time. Go ahead.
Unless the pitcher starts to deliver, batter calls time, doesn't deliver anything. Not gonna call a ball.
Oh, that's not a ball.
So basically, there's nothing. Hey, you wait for me to call time, and you get back and you're okay pitch.
Yeah. Guys, there's also nothing wrong with stopping that pitcher that's starting to deliver pretty fast. You know what? Pitch, settle down. Let's get him in the box. Okay. And it's a quick hand because you don't want to call time on that necessarily. If you got runners on or something, pitch, settle down, relax. And worst case, pitch, step off. Pitch, step off. Okay, all right. And then let him come back on the rubber, okay? The batter calls time or a foul ball, and we're getting ready to put the ball back into play or whatever. Perfect scenario. Foul ball, gave Billy the ball, he threw it into the pitcher, you're ready to call play, you're ready to go already, and the pitcher's he's all ready to go already. Guys, let that batter get back in the box. Before you even put it into play, pitch, step off. All right, okay, all right, here we go. Play. Let that batter get in there, and I son's that pitched, so I'm usually trying for the pitcher. I like to try to get that low strike and so on, but let that batter have a chance to have a fair shot at that ball too.
I think you really hit on something important because I feel that
I've been doing this an hour and a half, Lou. I just got something going.
But this is a huge safety issue. We're responsible for that.
Sure.
These batters can really get hurt if they're not ready. Their head's down. The pitcher's already.
Oh
pitching.
yeah.
Be really aware of that.
Yeah.
And the younger ages, it's going to happen.
Yeah. Look for that hit by pitch. Look for that little guy that's got a pad from here to here on his left elbow. Okay, guys, get that. You know what? That might get him angry, but that's credibility. Okay, if he's got that going in there. A pitcher for EGHS, but I'm not going to say the name. A catcher, I should say, or a coach, I should say. Third base, batter's in there. My son was an assistant coach for him for a while, so I was a little intimidated behind the plate. And dink, hits the pad. And you'll be surprised that it's instinct, guys, when you'll say, no, you're staying right here. Because that was a strike, or he put the ball into it. And here he comes walking down the line, and I'm thinking, oh, man, he's going to let me have it. And how could you possibly do this to me? Jimmy, I told you to take that thing off. It's every game. And then he's thinking, all right, I got that one. So, yeah, so get that. If that ball's a strike and, it hit him, it's a strike, guys. If he swings, I feel awful that it hit his hand. Give him the time, but he swung at it. So he can't get it because it's a strike. Okay? So, that's part of the rules thing, but you don't be afraid to go and get them. This is our time to try to go get that. But balls and strikes, that's where you're going to get noticed. That's where Jeff Collis gets a call because you know what these freshman coaches all know? They're looking for umpires. They're looking for officials. That might be that quick call. Hey, listen, I had this Ted Seibeck here today. You know what? The guy can call a pitch. He's doing a nice job. I want to take a look at him. So do that. Put yourself out there when there's a calling all cars that they've got 5 games tonight that aren't covered. Go do that Prospect High School. You're probably going to be awful, but you'll get that awful game out of the way. So get out there and do it. Have fun. Put yourself out there. All right? Al, I'm just dancing now.